going on, folks? Rob here again with Oddbot Low RV. So in the last video we worked on setting up our new reeds. We got our Carbon Tech reeds installed on our reed cage, and in this video we're going to now get everything installed, the reeds installed, and possibly even the carburetor, which is here, back into the engine. So we got a couple of things we got to do. So we do have a gasket here that we have just the one, and that's going to go on the intake. Got to do some cleanup here, which is fine. This gasket goes here, but we also need a gasket here. Now there is already the existing gasket. It's just a little flaked off over in that corner. Might be a little hard to see. But what we got here is some 3-bond 1211. And so we're going to use that to help our gasket on this. This is what Chris at CW Racing said to use, so that's what we're going to do. So without further ado, we're going to get started on this thing and just hopefully get all this together in this video clip. All right, so the first thing we got to do is we need to clean up our intake here. This is pretty dirty, so we're just going to take a couple of paper towels here and spray it with a little bit of cleaner. And then wipe this down. Make sure there's nothing on the boot. The rest of this, it's all exterior. We'll go ahead and clean it up as well, just so it looks nice and clean. Also reduce the risk of any debris getting in to the motor while we're putting it back together. Much of this is sand, and obviously with sand you want to avoid getting that back in your nice rebuilt engine. So go ahead and clean this all up. Now again, this intake here is an aftermarket intake. The reason why I had to go with this is because I have a 38mm smart carb. I love the carburetor. It's fantastic. It's jetless. It automatically compensates for altitude adjustments. You don't have to worry about jetting past just kind of your first time setting it in. But because of the size, it being a 38mm, I could not get my older intake to slide over it. And so this is an upgrade intake that we offer. And what's nice about it, it is billet aluminum here. And then this part here is a readily available piece that you can get that's easily replaceable. So it's an investment, but it gives you a lot of flexibility long term. Okay. So I think that's looking pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our 3-bond. I've already cleaned this up to the extent that I think I could. There's still a little bit of stuff here and there, but yeah, probably do a little bit more cleanup off camera, and then we're going to apply our 3-bond, and then we're going to stick this into our machine, and then we're going to put our intake in. So, all right, so I did a little bit of additional cleaning off camera, and you can see all the kind of gunk that I was able to scrape off this gasket here. So looking pretty good at this point. We are going to use our 3-bond. Now, I've never used this stuff before, so I've been reading the instructions. And basically, this is clean and dry surfaces, remove dirt, grease, or moisture from surface to be sealed or bonded. Cut nozzle to desired bead size, push sealant ahead for uniform bead. Apply 3-bond silicone liquid gasket. And it says its surface is tack-free for about 30 minutes. So as I read this, we're basically going to apply this all around. We don't want a super thick bead because we don't want it squirting out everywhere. We just want this to kind of fill in any sort of gaps that we might have. And then we're just going to put it right back into the machine. And then we should be good to go. So This is all, it looks bad, but it's actually, this is all smooth. So we'll go ahead and get this thing applied and get this into the machine. Okay, so we're ready now. I went ahead and did a little more cleaning up on this. I know it still looks kind of grody, but this is all flat. It's just some discoloration of the metal and everything. But on this side here, we're going to go ahead and set this down. You know what I'm going to do is get a new piece of paper towel here. We're going to... Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and apply our 3-bond here. So we're going to take this here and just along here. Now I don't want a super wide bead because I don't want this thing pressing out. We're just going to gently apply it all the way around. We'll go back for the outside circles. And again, there is already a gasket on here. I'm applying the 3-bond because I was not able to get a fresh gasket, and this is just an added layer of protection to make sure that we don't have any air coming into the engine. So the next thing we're going to do is put this on along with our intake that we cleaned up and everything, and then start putting the carburetor on. So we have our 6 bolts for this sitting over here in my collection of bolts. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to get everything set up on the machine, and we'll continue putting this thing on. Alright, I think I have this set up so you guys can see it. I got 2 cameras here going. Make sure, yeah, so there's our reed cage here with our new reeds. So we're just going to go ahead and put this in. And then the other thing I need to have my gasket ready. Probably what I'll do is I'll, let me grab that real quick. Okay, we got our intake here. I'm going to set that over here so I can grab it along with my gasket so I can get to that nice and easy. Alright, so we're going to gently put this down, and when we press it onto the engine we want to just press it straight. We don't really want to rub it around, because we just want that sealant to do its job. You gotta, there we go. Okay. So it looks like it's going to move around on me quite a bit here. So I'm going to have to be dexterous about this. Alright, there's that. So the next thing I got to do is I got to put on my intake along with that gasket. Now I went ahead, I don't know how this is going to work because I only got 2 hands. Like everything, you never have enough hands to do what you're doing here. So I want to try and get these 2 bolts in place. So I think that bolt there is about right. Okay, so I'm just going to gently thread this first bolt in to the extent possible. I don't want to do it too tight. Now I have this bottom one here. We just need to make sure we find the hole. There's the intake hole. Gently thread that in. And we got one more. Way down in this corner, got some tubing in the way. Okay. I think that feels pretty good. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to get a wrench and tighten all that up. I'm going to pause the video here so I can grab that real quick. Alright, so I got my wrench here, and it's just an 8mm socket, so I'm just going to gently tie this on. Now, I'm not going to torque these things down. I'm going to tighten it, but I don't want to torque it down so tight that all that silicone squeezes out. So I'm just going to go down to where it's squeezing on that, and what I'll do is I'll come back probably tomorrow after the silicone is set up and then torque it down. Now I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to do. Again, I've never used this. I did look it up on the internet and kind of look for what people were doing, and there seemed to be a lot of confusion on how to apply this stuff. It seems the consensus is you want to put it on when it's wet because it does firm up, which is good. My reasoning for not wanting to torque it down is I don't want to squirt it all out from everything while it's still pliable. So we're just going to do this kind of where it's hand tight, apply a little bit of pressure, and again tomorrow I'll torque it to spec once I think everything is dry. Okay, so that's all pretty snug, and at this point we're pretty good on this end. I think we're going to stop the video here, and the next video clip we're going to put on the exhaust port. So we'll catch you guys in the next clip.